That's fair. The Strangler Figs of deepest, darkest Costa
Costa Rica.
Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Costa Brava.
Costa Brava. I need to dig up that lovely map that you guys have dug up. I want to say dig up. It's probably in Discord. Now that I think about it, but
It's in the log.
I do admire. I gotta say, I do admire the. Is that a picture of Joe like flipping out and losing his shit and spinning around in circles and destroying everything?
No, that was a picture of Joe being excited over your being almost there.
Yay! Yes. Apologies. Again, apologies. That is a lot of. I like that. Oh, I like that spot. That's good. So, Costa Rica, southern part of Costa Rica. What's that peninsula?
I,
I think most of what I've been running on, most of what I've been like, oh, that's a natural park.
yeah,
Corcovado Natural Park. Yeah, I definitely didn't do any running out there just recently in my little online running thing. I want to save this thing. It's not letting me. Weird. Weird. Oh, maybe if I open the link. It's a good map. Someone is breathing. It's
That's
okay.
me. Sorry.
It's okay. I think we're all actually breathing, but I mean,
Joke's on you, I have no being.
aha, I see.
Well, James is a vampire. That's why he
Bold of
gets
you
up
to
at 1 and goes to bed at some time.
That's
Excuse you, I was not the only one up at 1 last night.
No, I said you get up at 1. I was up before 1
Oh.
o'clock.
oh my
We've
goodness.
Yeah,
both
well.
been up too late over the weekend, as witnessed by Gloria making a middle of the night bathroom trip and seeing us as we're heading upstairs.
Yes, but I also got 2 hours of sleep this weekend, so
Time is an
I
illusion.
was not the crazy person who got up at 7 in the morning after staying up till
I
after
did
4.
not choose to do that.
All right. All right. What have we learned? Time is an illusion, which means that we haven't actually missed multiple weeks of this game, right? Or, alternately, since every month is essentially approximately a decade in COVID dog years, we haven't played in approximately 15 years. Okay. When we last
Don't be hasty now.
when we last left our heroes, if I remember correctly, we have a lovely umbrella of technological drones roaming about, probably in above and below the canopy, uh, for Alex. We had all these lovely strangler figs kind of in the area where you guys first arose from the cliffs out of the water, having been delivered there by Met's new wheels, to use the term super loosely. Having arrived,
Excelsior!
having spotted these things, Kiln's first reaction was like, oh, these are very old, and I remember them, or that they may not individually be very old, but they're from my time, and I am going to scale them and acquire figs because this will let me do some of the recipes of my people from once. So having gotten up there into the trees, that was going on. Joe is having a less gastronomic reaction to the trees.
it was still a gut reaction.
Yeah, it was still a gut reaction. Histrionic? Something. A lot of flashbacks having to do with like sort of flashes of when he was in Africa with his family, when he was attacked, when he was shot, when he was killed. Not at all pleasant. Some mental imagery of the actual trees themselves and more ruins and that sort of stuff. At which point in time he chose of his own free will to take a powerful blow. I might be modifying history somewhat there. And it went swimmingly and everything is fine. No wait. he went, if you'll forgive me, ape shit.
Bump.
I just thought of that. It's kind of funny. Anyway, he kind of lost it. Started smashing. Unfortunately, many of the trees, sort of, but most cogently, the one that Kiln was currently bilbowing on top of in the Stark Forest. And that is where
I
we
think
left
of it more like Gleek.
Gleek. Oh, yeah.
Wonder Twins.
I'm
Gleek?
just thinking
Oh.
of everybody else being down on the ground and him being up like at the canopy level where he can sort of see more stuff and be, feel the wind
Oh.
on the face, all that kind of stuff.
Crows in the trees. I gotcha.
So, stuff is happening. Information for those people who are about to get, who are kind of having all this stuff happen. So, Alex has multiple sensory inputs going on at this point because, you've got your eyes, but they also have the drones sort of deployed out here. And I partly we've talked about, like, partly that's to create sort of that, I don't want to say neural net, but that sort of like impromptu sort of digital net, but sensory stuff, connection to the outside world, all that kind of good stuff. But I also just happen to be a bunch of flying eyes, so I'm getting a good all around picture of the whole area, which is great.
Yep.
Notably, is that the area itself was not. Like, the first crazy thing that happened was Joe. Okay? I want to be clear about the order of events because what Alex witnesses immediately thereafter, other people might look at, the way code looks sometimes when it reacts to intrusion, if it's a particularly smart, virtual intelligence, that kind of thing, as the way fish will all swim away from a large predator that swims through the central school. You're familiar with that, the image of the shark, and it's all like bare, like there's a bubble of no fish around them, kind of a thing. Or differently, the falcon flying, that although it is the baddest ass predator up in the sky, seems to be getting harried mercilessly by a crowd of sparrows. Okay, and that is more, or kind of a combination of those two things, is what you see. You actually see from your, this isn't even bird's eye view, it's just this holistic thing. You see
Have I gone quiet, or did
Oh,
Doyce go
thank
quiet?
goodness. I can't hear Doyce.
I can't hear Doyce either.
Huh,
Oh, thank goodness.
okay.
Someone outside the house can't hear Doyce either.
Oh, Doyce is typing.
Doyce has left the library. Doyce has
I just need to get a screenshot of Doyce's typing, so that anytime something happens on the forums, we can just post that.
So Mike, has there been much baking in your household?
hello.
Not more than
Oh, he's
normal.
back.
I'm back. Sorry, I just had to plug in the cord. I don't know why it's been plugged in for weeks. I don't know why it's not charged. It's very strange.
Ask Dave about that. He's the last
I've
one to
been
go through
having
that
some weird things with
charging.
charging and micro USB cables, and with both my tablet and my headphones. But
Yeah,
we're
very.
talking about your problems.
Well, it's good to know I'm not alone. So thank you. Okay. So to say, sorry, we will get back to Mike's baking very soon. Probably
That
not, but
implies that your comms are going to go out again.
I mean, that's hurtful. No, okay. All right. So Alex, short version, what you're seeing is really, it takes you even a second, I think, really to kind of process it because it's not something you generally see forests do, but it kind of flinches back from where you guys are standing. Like, it isn't like everything moves, but there's definitely, like, if a wind were to have blown straight out from that center direction and blown the trees to lean away, that happens. And in the same kind of way that you would imagine, it looks like when water, like a great big rock is dropped in and the water rushes out, like very big, and the water then rushes back in, you see that kind of ripple back in. Again, not that they're moving as much as leaning or that they are reaching almost, but again, it's like this initial cringe, flinch reaction followed by an immediate sort of aggressive. Yeah, we always called it chesting, like when you're like kind of chest to chest with somebody, kind of shoving your body into their space to like assert dominance, and you were seeing that coming toward you from all directions.
That is a very boy thing.
Well, it's a very boy forest, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, um, so that's information that you have. Kiln, something for you to process, something for you to prepare to tell us about is, what was the name of the great big bad evil? Start with a P.
Fluvis.
Fluvis. Fluvis?
Yes.
Fluvis? Why did I think it started with a P? I'm bad. Anyway.
To be fair, I initially said it's Elvis, so I guess he's just cursed, you know.
Okay, so
He who shall
Fluvis.
not be named.
He who shall not be named, except to be named Fluvis. There is a thing that was occasionally unleashed upon the battlefields that, addressed individually by a highly skilled person, there was not necessarily a better chance of defeat, but a much lower body count because it was designed to be particularly devastating when faced in groups. So the what you frequently saw is like one of these things was spotted on the field, and a lone person, sometimes two, of the appropriate heroic stature would essentially launch themselves in that direction to take the thing on far enough away from everybody else that from like typical mundane grouped forces, so as to minimize the damage, because the
It gets a bonus from
gets a bonus
from
from
surrounding.
everybody around.
AOE attack versus
Yeah,
It has the greater cleave ability.
something like, no, but things along that lines. I don't know what this thing looks like. I don't know much beyond that. This is the thing that means you don't want this thing to necessarily get in a group. You know what this thing looks like coming toward you, whether it be across a desert, through a forest, over mountainous terrain, through a jungle, through the water. You've seen it often enough, and you see sort of wake mark of that thing stirring. Call it a quarter-mile distant. Okay, and coming your, there's bad news accompanying, and it's coming your way. Prepare a mental image for us, if you would. Joe is smashing trees. He's doing a very good job of it. Shards, chunks, grenades going off inside of these rather hollow core trees. chunks flying everywhere and all that sort of stuff.
Forest Cynodels
Sync,
or Forest Sentinels.
yes. Sync,
Rolling.
Joe's set to do himself a fair amount of potential of personal harm, just because he's not really paying attention to a lot of the stuff that's going on in here. And some of these, Margie, I'll stick with that. Forest Sentinels are starting. Some of them are starting to topple in the immediate vicinity, and he may or may not be in good shape for that. You might be able to do something about that with regards to kind of controlling where he goes. Not least because you've been constantly sicked on him or paired up with him for the purposes of, Sergeant Surge's various exercises and stuff like that, much to Joe's annoyance and chagrin. But there is a ton of this stuff flying through the air. It's like the bits of concrete in that one scene in The Matrix, like flying everywhere, where you got to wonder how somebody didn't end up having eye surgery after filming that scene. And Met is essentially right in the blast zone of it. So are you, but whatever.
I'll be fine.
There isn't really a good way to deal with both of those things. So who do you help?
I help Met because that's what my best buddy Joe would do.
You're not wrong.
I love that that's his angle on it. I'm just going to say because of the fact that there's no way Joe takes it well. And you may not be, I mean, I'm not sure if Roddy's being sarcastic right now or if Roddy knows he'll be winding Joe up in the long run. Either way is delicious. So I don't honestly care. It could be either one, and either one is going to be great. Okay, so we're going to start with that and work our way backwards through, somewhat backwards through a lot of this stuff. And Met, we've got stuff for you too. But first, and I apologize because I realize I'm putting in a situation where the girl needs to be rescued, but it's really more about the fact that Joe's rival needs to do something to save Joe from himself because
I'm okay with it.
Because Joe rolled a 5, and really, why not heap indignity on top of damage? So
I may have to save Rodney from the results of the rescue. So we're good.
That is entirely fair. Okay, so Roddy, if you would, this is getting her out of here. I'd like to know what this looks like in terms of how, like your timing ability being used, but this is Savior doing a defend roll to protect Met in some way, shape, or form, getting her out of the blast zone, so to speak. What's that look like?
It is just going to be like a Roddy just like running right at Met, and it'll be like that sort of like no time to explain, just go with it and just grab her, and it will be just like running and kind of juking and jiving through the rocks as they're basically like
tree chunks, largely tree
debris.
chunks. Yeah, shrapnel
Debris.
of
Yeah.
bad kinds.
Yeah, as the debris is coming through, as it's like colliding with each other, and it'll be that sort of stuff.
Yeah, what is it almost like reverse parkour? Like instead of getting on top of stuff, kind of sliding under or around? Like what's Roddy's
That's still parkour, but yeah.
Style. I know, yeah, you're right. What's is that sort of style, or is it more like
there's some of that, but I think the other thing is him like every now and then just sort of like go, like leaning over, scooping up a particularly hefty rock and just like tossing it in front of him so that it knocks something aside to knock something else into it to make a path.
Yeah, I want to see like a moment where he just stops absolutely dead because like he's done the math, and if he stops dead right there,
Whoosh.
They collide. A bunch of stuff collides with it, like with other stuff, and just not acting is the best possible thing you can do right at that second to be
Yep.
okay.
The-
That's really cool. Is it the kind of thing that we see in slow-mo, or is it the kind of thing where it's just a blur?
No, well, Roddy's not abnormally fast. He's just
Right.
very accurate. So it's probably not in slow mo. It's probably at normal speed, but it's one of those things where there's just like absurd levels of chaos going around. And if you were watching it on TV, you'd be like, wow, that dude's really precise with their choreography.
Yeah, and then they watch it frame by frame later and realize how much stuff he was actually dodging that was going by too fast to get at normal frame rate, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the CGI on
So-
this is killer."
You guys are I know some of you guys are Kim Possible fans, right?
Sure.
So there's a scene where they're showing Kim Possible's first job after her Kim Possible website goes live, and it's going and rescuing this person in the middle of his laser gridded huge vaulted room, and you see her going in and doing all sorts of acrobatics and gymnastics to get to the center. It's sort of like that. It's the
Yeah, I like that.
the immense body awareness.
And we definitely see. I'm prefacing this largely so that I make sure that we're not. We definitely see all of this, even if things go absolutely sideways. Also, I wanted to share this little thing over here that I got a notification for today, which is a little blast from the past. This is a comment on the 6th to last session. I believe it's the one where we find out that all the statues in the Twilight Glade are your friends. I think for just 1 minute, something like that. I think that's when that happens.
I think that's where Adam's reality manipulation came out.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that is literally the first time that particular person has left a comment. They are 57 sessions in and had not left a comment, and that's what finally pushed them over the edge. So you guys are awesome. Anyway, I had meant to send it earlier today, and well, things got away from me. All right, so Roddy, dodge, parry, spin, bleh, ha, huh, huh. Oh, and of course this beautiful. I missed that. That's a really and the little hip waggle.
It's that's the appropriate level of sass to follow it up. So,
That's great.
That is great.
I mean, Roddy's for Roddy to say like I've got Muhammad Ali level sass is really, I mean, that's laying claim to some big territory. All right, so let's have that defend roll and see how well it works out for everybody. Parry, dodge, spin.
all right.
I have to go with the Naruto one though. That may be even better just because of the facial expression. I guess it depends on how you roll.
I think we're fine here.
That facial expression is super good. Oh, look at you with your +2. All right. So on a defend, if you get a 10, 11, 12, does not cost you. Choose one. All right. Save them. Choose one. So wait. Yeah, this is NPC threads. Add a team to the pool. Take influence over someone you protect or clear a condition.
Let's see.
And I want to hear kind of like.
Well, I don't have Met right now as an influence, so I think
Take influence over Met.
take influence over Met's probably the best thing.
I like it.
I wasn't even looking at the thing.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best one.
That's excellent. Great. So I will simply note that, Roddy actually acting heroic Met. I mean, you have your own spin on this, but I would say that would it be fair to say that because, I want to ask you, would it be fair to say that because of Roddy's normal sort of attitude about heroics in general and school and that sort of thing, that him you know,
Coming
here,
through.
you know, coming through to save the day is the thing that sort of gets your attention and goes, not bad, not bad.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
because it's I hate to say this, but sometimes it's hard to take him seriously because he doesn't appear to take himself seriously.
That's fair.
And so for him to actually, do something like this, but
yeah, the first instinct is
yeah.
heroics, right? Roddy, we kind of talked about how you get to her. How do you get her safe? She doesn't necessarily see all of this stuff the way you do, or guess ahead as well as you do. So how do you sort of steer her to a place of relative safety? Is it just a shove and like a grab and throw kind of thing, like whip her to the ground in the clearest direction that you can see, or what like I don't know, like what does this even look like for you? Or have you figured out enough of her wristbands to go slap the low gravity thing and then both of you jump? I don't know.
You know what? That one sounds the most interesting. Where it'll just be like, and I think it was this one.
Plap. Okay. And it went well. We already know it went well. Matt, I will let you process how that. I mean, I don't know how acceptable it is amongst your people to mess with one another's tech in the event of emergency, but I'll let you worry with that. As you guys kind of sail, it's not obviously a zero gravity thing, but it's sort of like one of those wushu level floating back pedals out of the thing. So yeah, kind of grab her around the waist and slap the wrist and just leap backwards. And thoughts, reactions, Matt? Any hot take on that part of it? I mean, hopefully.
I'm glad that he chose. Sorry, I'm glad that he chose that particular button to slap because,
as the one,
Spraying
as opposed,
fire over all the other people would have been really awkward.
or the
well,
one that
it
attracts
was
all the
dangerously
shrapnel.
close to the increased gravity, which really would not have ended well for anybody.
Yeah.
Um,
The localized effect does alter some of the trajectory of various chunks of wood and that sort of thing, and that's probably worth noting. I'm going to get to Joe last. Apologies, Joe. Smashy. Kiln.
but actually, Met's first response is to actually try and save Joe. Is to do something to try and protect Joe from himself. Not necessarily being
Ooh.
stupid enough to race back into what's going on there. I'm not kind of blind, but
Well, when you
there may be some wood not landing on him that might have landed on him.
you could do it if that's the literally the physical thing you're trying to do. I mean, I'll be a rules wonk for a second. Mechanically speaking, trying to defend him does, to a certain extent, going to put you at some danger because you're screwing with the trajectory, or you're cutting the arc of the zero G off enough that potentially something bad happens to you, that kind of thing. Okay, so mechanically speaking, if you're literally defending him from, like, in some cases, like slowing down some of the big trees enough that he's got time to react, see it and react, that kind of thing, whatever it happens to be, that's a defend with potential consequences. Alternately, since you are sailing away, but you are still, he's right there to a certain extent. When you provoke someone susceptible to your words, say what you're trying to get them to do and roll superior. And that might be, it's not a defend, but it does do a thing that helps him if it lands. This is up to you. That's a thought that I had, that maybe you can just like sort of get him to snap out of it by shouting
Influence
something
him.
out. Yeah, shout something at him. You've got to stop. This is, that kind of thing. Anything like
Unfortunately, I know personally what would get him to stop instantly, but I don't know that Met knows.
Well, I mean, that's why there's dice, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that she's now this would be a fun thing. This would be a situation where I say roll first, and if you roll really well, then Met twigs to it or stumbles upon it by accident. If Met doesn't know, then she shouts the wrong thing or something less effective. I don't know. Thoughts is entirely up to you. Kiln, I'm about to ask you what the hell is coming our way. So hopefully you're not still Googling.
No, I have multiple tabs open. I'm just now trying to consolidate.
I did have the thought, I want to tell you, at 6:25 this morning, I should text James and tell him I need him to come up with a dangerous, like, AoE kind of battle thing from the bad guys. And that's how my day has gone, that's how much forewarning I got versus how much I was able to convey to anybody else.
You know.
So I'll go for the influence as opposed to the direct intervention.
Okay. Do you want to shout your thing and see how it lands, or roll and have that direct how good or bad your guess is? I can see it going either way.
So am I allowed to put something on here? I thought there's someplace where I could add a name to it or something. Am I forgetting that?
Sure what you're saying. Name to what?
Oh, like when you click the roll, where it comes up with the bonus and penalties or something like that. I thought there was someplace you could say
when it'll ask for if you get a bonus, and since you have since you have influence over him, you would add one.
Right. No, I just seem to recall that.
The fellowship die rolling.
Thank you.
Thing.
Yeah, the Discord bots have that, but
label.
Roll20 does not.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll label it after I roll then.
Holy moly. Wow. That is, what do you have? I guess you have a +3 superior.
Yes.
Holy crikey.
I do.
See, I ask for these things without checking to see what kind of situation I've just dropped you into. And in this case, apparently I've dropped you into more awesomeness. Well, apparently you do have a really good idea.
My idea, right there.
Oh my goodness gracious! I love the simplicity of it. Can I get? Yeah, I did. Joe, help!
And having Rodney right next to me, helping me, probably gave me that an extra +1 on there.
What I'm curious about, to a certain extent, because yes, it will. I have no doubt that it will absolutely work land as intended. I'm wondering if even now Met actually knows why it would be so effective. You know what I mean? I know that you do.
Well, was she actually intending it as a call for help from Joe, or was it Joe, like help Joe, not Joe help me?
Yeah, I like Bill's take here. On a 5, you shout the exact same thing, but Joe assumes it saved me from Roddy.
No, that was my immediate thought. That's if he turns and sees this, given all that's going on in his head, that would make absolute sense.
When you provoke someone susceptible to your words, say what you're trying to get them to do and roll superior. Now, what she's trying to get you to do is to stop the rage out. For NPCs, the rest of it, do what you want. On 10+. On PCs, okay, so you still, Dave, you're not dictated to in this case. On PCs, on 10+, both. So both of these things are in effect. If you do what she wants you to do, which is to say stop, add team to the pool. If you decide not to do it, you mark a condition. So both of these potential carrots and sticks are in effect depending on which way you decide to go with the thing. Again, I love what this does, because it rewards or penalizes behaviors without it making mind control. So I think that's a good thing. Margie, you're miking up a little bit. And so Joe, help. And honestly, this is
Joe-
landing Joe is the shot that we get then of Joe is really at a distance, like call it 50, 60 feet away still, and in a self-created hurricane, honestly, of destruction and tumbling trees and all that kind of stuff. What's the first expression or reaction? I want to come back to you for the action, but what's the first expression or reaction or thing in response to what Met does? Or is it, do you like, do we see it not register because he's just too full of whatever's going on? Because again, you don't have to.
I actually kind of want to split the difference, which I'm happy to take as a condition.
I want both. I want to mark a condition and add team to the pool.
No. What I want to do, because Joe is raging against this and he's trying to tear into it, stop it, find out, get to the literally to the bottom of whatever it is that he's seeing or feeling. And all of this is wrapped in a huge sense of danger. It's not just. I mean, he's acting out in rage, but it's rage towards. It's rage in that he can do something now that he couldn't then, maybe in some irrational fashion.
Sure.
When Met calls to him saying, "Joe, help." I swear to God, if he sees Roddy carrying her off, I will take a guilty for having left her undefended in this arena of terrible danger, and go off after what she's asking for help about.
You have stopped. I'll take it. I think that's fair. It's certainly your choice. And if nothing else, the wanton destruction has stopped. Now it's laser focused on Roddy.
But it doesn't kill the blind rage.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't let him out of the blind rage as much.
I don't know about the blind rage. It shifted from blind rage to blinkered rage. Like, you know what I mean? It's now focused down on this one thing to the exclusion of possibly other useful information. So we see him kind of shake and look and squint and just even swell more as he's like launching himself from this what is already a falling tree.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. What is already a falling tree, launching himself off of that towards my fan fiction version of this is Roddy going like, as he pauses, Roddy going, thinking, wow, it worked. And then him leaping, it's like, oh crap, it worked. Like, just, it worked. It was not a good work. It was a bad work. Kiln, your tree is falling, but you're at the very top of it. So it's falling slowly and you're not especially worried about that because,
Yeah.
what do your elf eyes see? The thing is coming, and your instinct is to start moving because you're really at ground center of whatever the hell is going below you, and your instinct tells you its opening salvo is going to come quite quick. I'm going to present a couple of options. Don't feel as though these are the only options. Is this a meet it head on kind of thing? Is it a dodge? Is it a dodge first, slip under the attack, get it up in its face kind of thing? Is it a lead it away kind of situation? Get its attention and lead it away? Is it none of the above? All of the above?
I mean, I definitely want to lead it away from the ruins here.
Okay. Well, you guys haven't even got to I want to make it clear.
Oh,
You guys got up off the cliff and saw the trees, and
we got
it's like
distracted.
super, super old trees. No, the trees didn't react. Joe
No,
did.
distracted.
Oh yeah, you guys got distracted. Yes, you got a little distracted as you got up there. It's like, ooh, figs, and Joe's like, oh, raging,
Death.
yeah, raging PTSD. And yeah, but you're definitely. I mean, leading him away from the group is good tactically. Again, this thing is bad when it's surrounded by more people because it's dangerous. It's designed to be dangerous around multiple targets. So leading it away from them, good. So yeah, not necessarily to the ruins. That's
All right.
nearby, but
I got mixed up in my mind with pictures of Strangler figs and ruins.
it's completely
and...
understandable. I promise there will also be strangle figs near the ruins when we ever get to them. So what's the move? What's the play? What's your play? What do you think?
I think, God, too many tabs.
You are your father's son. Well done.
Actually, I hate to say it, but he gets that even more from me.
Oh my god.
If we did a count as to average number of tabs open, I'm afraid that's me.
Oh my god. That's impressive because I know how many Dave has open. That.
This
Wow.
window
Right now
was
I
fine.
have 7 Chrome windows open, so the number of tabs per window is much reduced.
See, I don't do multiple Chrome sessions because I've had more than one time where the wrong Chrome session was the last to close, so all of my tabs went away.
That's fair. What do you think, Kelm?
Actually, I'm pretty light right now.
For the record, this window was fairly empty until Joyce asked me to describe the
I mean, that's fair.
impending doom. Oh my god, Mom, how do you do
I
that?
don't think I've ever had that many tabs open in my life.
That's
I have one open. I have 2 open right now.
It's actually light.
I don't like having more than 5 open.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys are all pikers. Multitask.
No, that's a trap. Multitasking is a
See-
trap.
See, for me, the reason I have all the tabs open is because otherwise I would go down little rabbit holes and never make my way out.
So now you go down rabbit holes, but you have separate tabs for all of them.
I come back to my rabbit holes individually.
She leaves a trail of breadcrumbs everywhere. Kelm, what are you doing?
Yes. I want to offer Bill a chance to get into stuff if he wants.
Oh, I got a plan. Like, go ahead and lead him away. Like, I want to see where this goes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna lead him away, and if Bill wanted, call out to Alex to join me.
That
I'm
is.
going to send the drones up and do some scouting. Like, that's my plan. So do whatever you're going to do.
Okay.
Oh, that is a terrible. All right. You are leading them away. Thing. Do we know what this thing looks like?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
yeah, I have.
We still haven't seen it yet, but it's gonna announce its presence before we see it. But I think we should see kind of what it, or do you want to
Yeah,
save it
so
for a
it's a
big reveal?
mixture because there is a lack of exactly what I want, which, how dare the internet.
Yeah, I got you.
Ooh, let me make sure this link actually works. I have fear. Actually, I can do this.
Sometimes really hard to describe the thing I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I got you.
So we got part 1 coming in half a sec once my computer decides to cooperate. I appreciate the Trigun GIF from Bill.
I lost track of there it is.
So part 1, oh my god.
We're back to dodging.
Part 1 is there. And now we're getting part 2.
Oh my stars and garters, that is a thing. Oh,
Kind of a, bony
undead megafauna.
giant moose of sorts because God knows mooses need to be larger.
Oh, I like that.
Do or don't.
I do. Yeah, no, it's good. That is a fine combo of horribleness right there. I think.
Of course, he loves the megafauna.
I mean, it's true. I almost want to kind of focus a little bit because I feel like if you took the one to the right, the moosey thing to the right, and combined it with the other image, you get something that actually looks pretty close to that sketch in the middle, a little
Yeah.
bit, which is okay. That's fine because everything's old and breaking down and not in the fine shape that it was before. Also, I like the kind of the hint of corruption and that sort of thing. We have not seen this thing yet. We have seen the movement of the trees around it, and of course the trees themselves seem to be reacting in some way, Kiln, that you haven't. There's a great from Kiln, from your point of view, a great wind has leapt up, but you're not seeing it at the level that Alex is. What you see, if we're gonna Alex actually, if you can sort of imagine your sort of satellite eye view. First of all, I'm going to have Kiln roll a defend, por favor, to lead this thing properly away from people. If you would be so kind, that is a savior roll. Which even with a +3, still a 7. Okay. Oh, we have a choice to make here, I think. When you defend someone or something from an immediate threat, roll Savior. For NPC threats on a hit, you keep them safe and choose one. On a 7-9, it costs you expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
Please, let's escalate the situation.
I am positive I can come up with some way to escalate the situation. So if you feel compelled to go that direction, Kiln, I am here for you.
Only if by escalate the situation I make some comment that enrages Joey even more.
That was not where I was going with that. Just yeah. Or expose yourself to danger, which is I have a thought on that as well. Also,
I feel the very nature of going off solo to lead this thing away is exposing myself to danger, but if you want to escalate the situation, have at.
I know what I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. So there's probably a picture, the 4th season of Korra, when they've got the big bad towards the end that's firing off the big energy. I'm gonna be as vague as I can in case somebody's potentially spoiled here, but there's big energy blasts. I don't think that's really giving too much away, and he is really functioning at the same scale as the thing firing off the energy blast. So they're very big. It's less like dodging an attack as it is like, oh, this building is falling. I need to not be there when it hits. And that's some of that effect. You do defend the group, so you're leaping away, and I'm actually one way to say this is that the big blast grazes you, but I'm not actually gonna. That's not what I'm focusing on. I mean, there's a physical element to this where you're very close to this thing passing through, and there's a big blast. There's a big. Well, here it looks like. Does this work if I do this? No, it doesn't. What if I do? What if you click on that thing? Does that work? And give you a thing that you can use?
It does.
Okay. So if you would humor me, imagine that blasting through the trees at approximately canopy height from about 250 yards away. Okay. And tracking you. So out of curiosity, what did you do to get this thing's attention? Did you just like chuck a couple of fireballs its way as you're like leaping from tree to tree away from everybody, or shout something about their mother and elderberry wine, or how do you get the thing's attention? Aside from the fact that it was heading this way anyway, but not. But
I think all she needs to do, all they need to do
they-
is say
they.
something in the ancient language. That should get its attention.
This is true. I mean, it can be anything.
Like the humorous ending to the Columbo we saw last night.
Yeah, kind of, let out a piercing whistle and yell something that even the others can tell is some insult.
I'm getting some kind
in,
of. I'm getting some kind of Silmarillion like feeling of like just an insult that only those of the first stage would understand. Or if you've ever gotten all the way through the 3 books of the Paladin job, the fact that the guy who always insults people's mothers knows how to do it in the most ancient of tongues. Like he doesn't know how to say anything else in precursor Latin, but he can make a joke about sleeping with your mom, and he gets and his delivery is flawless. Anyway, so yeah, leaping away from that, and we see this beam, and Alex, you're the one that sees it. Really, the rest of you see a bright white flash of hurricane fire come searing and blazing through the roof, through the canopy tops, and tracking away. Alex, you see the thing go out through the trees and then start to track. I'm going to say right, as it tries to catch up with Kiln, who is crouching tigering through the treetops and accelerating, although not fast enough. Kiln kind of flinging yourself down and away from this to get low, but still too close to a couple of trees that basically explode when they get hit with this thing in the blast. So I say grazed by this. That's not what gets you though. I could stop there, but what I would like, I'm going to put you on the spot again. You've faced this kind of thing before. You and one other teamed up to take one of these things down, and when one of these blasts hit or was coming your way, you dodged like this and barely missed it, and they didn't. Who was that? How close was it to the end where you slept for so
long? It was actually fairly early.
Oh, so this was a loss you faced early on in the battles and stuff.
Yeah, it was while I was still earlier on still training in a way.
So you were still being was it a mentor?
No, it was a
Fellow
fellow
trainee.
trainee.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we had been out on a scouting mission and got caught up in the horrible situation.
Gotcha. So as much as the blast that like propels you yet further and causes you to sort of lose control of the leap that you were doing down towards the floor, the floor of the forest and everything like that, as much as that and the explosion and shrapnel fire, blah blah blah, it's that memory that makes your GM say take a condition or take a powerful blow. I'll say victim's choice in this one because you can go either way. You can choose to take a condition or you can roll take a powerful blow. It's up to you. I am agnostic as far as this goes. But that painful memory, I think, is really what gets you. Alex, you can decide if you're going to roll. Just let me know. But in the meantime, Alex, so this is happening. Your drones. I mean, you lose some. I'm just going to say some, which has. I don't know. Does it have deleterious effects, or is it just like you use losing some of your computer screens go?
Some of the redundancy.
Does it have a feedback effect, or is it just staticky screens in a couple of places on your fly eye like readout?
You always overcommit resources for capacity like this.
For sure.
I
don't think it blinds you at all. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
What's it like to lose that kind of stuff? I
don't. Honestly, it's probably not going to be like have a big impact. Like there might be some flickering, but like Alex's software really takes all this stuff and just amalgamates it. So imagine
the result.
Imagine instead like a video game where like you turn too fast and the textures blur, or like you get a video glitch or something like that and put some part of the map. It's like that.
Cool. All right. So you lose some of that, but you're still more than enough to see, this thing happening, the thing kind of slowly tracking, very anime-like, kind of tracking across, that bwom sound that I love when they use on these big, blasts.
That is literally just the word I was thinking of for this.
I've been thinking of it the entire time.
It's used to great effect throughout the 4th season of Korra, which I enjoy.
Probably why I'm thinking of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
so Alex can't contribute much aside from coordination, but they're very good at that. So what they're trying to do is figure out where the team is, where this thing is, where it can aim, what the cover is, and so forth. Basically, I'm trying to assess the situation.
So I would say, certainly, Alex, you are the first one that gets a proper look at this thing. It seems to be doing this blast with its horns. I was going to say you lose track of Kiln as they go down into the canopy, plus the stuff tracks over them. But honestly, with the saturation level that you probably have, you lose track of him for a second and like, oh, here he is. Oh, yeah, he's much easier. They're much easier to spot thanks to the fact that he was like that they were like skipping across the canopy floor once they hit. Movement's always so much easier to track. So yeah, you do have a pretty good picture of where everybody is. I'll say the picture isn't super great right now because Joe's trying to kill Roddy, etc. Half the forest on fire, but yeah, you get a good sense of that. Why? First of all, doubling back real quick to Kiln, take a powerful blow or take a condition. What say you?
I want to go for a powerful blow.
Okay, go ahead and roll conditions, and let's see how she lands. Oh, that's fantastic! How did you get a -2 on a?
I have a thing, honor and death. When you fight a powerful opponent alone.
I mean that applies, I guess. Yeah, that's cool. Let me see. Oh, this thing. Honor and death. When you fight a powerful opponent alone, you count as having 2 less conditions marked for take a powerful blow. Even if, wow, I like that. Even if you have no conditions marked. Wow. So, Mark, potential. That's awesome. That's like that old Colossus game. Anyway, on a miss, you stand strong, mark potential as normal, and say how you weather the blow. So yeah, physical and/or mental. Like, how do we see what's Kiln's like? Ready to get back into the fray kind of thing.
I remember the words. You can get, a little flashbacky bubble.
Oh, sure, I love it.
Of the captain who taught me, and also or my friend
Yeah.
who oh god, I had the words in my head.
Welcome to 9:30 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, that tracks. But the words that she said to me after the incident before, which was, essentially, as long as there's one person, as long as there's one of us standing, we can, continue to carry them on and make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else, and take the bastards down.
Love it. And then seeing Kiln like sort of push themselves back up out of the the mulch. And what's what I'm thinking of? All the
Loam.
loam, I guess.
Forest floor.
Yeah, the forest floor. Anyway, okay, so excellent. Yes, sorry, Alex doing that thing, and we're seeing Alex process all this stuff, figuring out where everybody is. We get that little, probably the panel is Alex, but all the little panels of like where everybody's at, and probably a good, our first, as readers of the comic, first good look at this creature. Truly necrotic, in many ways, but still quite impressive and crazy. I found, sitting on my desk here, Matt, another take on your Kirby craft. I put over in Discord. So let's see that. Assess the situation. Is there cool Alex stuff, Agent 1337 stuff having to do with assess, or is it just a straight assess?
No, my superior is just fantastic.
That is true. Your superior is just fantastic. Bloop. And I flipped over to the die roll, and I saw the 1, and I'm like, oh, it's not that good. Wait, it is. Never mind. All right.
So on an assess, I have 2 questions. What here can I use to deceive this thing as to our location? And I'm trying to figure that out by, I can not only ask Kiln, like, hey, how does this thing target? But I can also watch, as Kiln is running for it, does this thing have eyes? Are those eyes moving? Do I see other sort of sensory apparatus like antennae moving?
Gotcha.
Does it have ears? Are the ears flicking? Like, I'm paying attention to how it's perceiving. So,
yes.
So let's figure that out.
So no, eyes are, I'm gonna say cataract balls. It's probably the easiest way to just describe that. It's in, as near as you can tell. I lost the picture. Yeah, go ahead. Oh yes, please. God, yes.
Not to directly draw inspiration, but I'm just imagining kind of like the Nazgul smell.
Kind of that kind of impression of them sniffing blindly more than searching with eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, start with that sort of central sketch like that James had up there, but let's cataract over those eyes. Definitely not sight. There's a lot of that sort of swaying the head back and forth to get that stereoscopic input. Nostrils are flaring. Gross nostrils. Nostrils are flaring, but also it's definitely like the ears are flaring. It's relying on these other senses, and it's certainly the shout from Kiln that it reacted to when that like as soon as it had like any kind of, oh, that's definitely something that I recognize as a thing I should be attacking, is when it let loose its thing. It seems to be doing that with his horns somehow. Bioluminescence taken to 1,000. So sensory, your smell
That
and
is
sound is the main thing.
fantastic. So the second question is, how can we best end this quickly? And based on that, I have a suggestion, which is that everyone else shuts the fuck up and gets basically, upwind of this thing. And then I send a couple of the drones to go make noise at it and lure it away that way.
Yeah.
But if there's a better way, I want to hear it.
Do the drones naturally have like a speaker, even if it's a shitty like little like
Let's go for yes.
computer beep speaker kind of thing that you could?
Yeah, like if nothing else, they're useful for announcing stuff as a PA type system.
Sure.
Like,
so theoretically, I mean, given the saturation level, you could create like a pretty not loud, not a deafening kind of thing, but a very encompassing kind of aural effect, given a few seconds to kind of figure out how the hell you would do something like that.
Yep.
Nice.
The real question is, I think the real question is, can I calm everyone down enough to make this work? If you ask me what the one roll is that I have to make, it's that one.
Which again, I hate to circle back on that same, but it sounds like a provoke to me. Is that?
No, I'm fine with that because my superior again is awesome.
Yes.
We are a superior team. You know that, right?
Yeah. All evidence to the contrary. I just want to hand it to.
Yeah, superior. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to hand it to Joe, who managed to take Mets 13 and turn it into a 7-9 result. I mean, good job there. Well done.
Hey, she got me out of the huge buzzsaw of falling trees.
That's true. Absolutely. Mission accomplished. So much for that. Matt, okay. So yes. Alex, are you like on comms, like sort of shouting, what you need to do, that kind of deal?
Oh, not quite shouting because they're mindful that like people just went berserk. Alex is probably more going to say it tracks on smell and sound. So we're all going to move in this direction, and it will provide a direction to move. And we're going to be very quiet. And I'm going to feed it one of my drones so it can go chase that for a while. But I need you all to calm down and take a breath, and let's let this thing pass.
Follow
please.
the blinking arrow in the sky. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Where's the? Oh, gotta scroll down here. All right, Superior 9.
Actually, if I had the assess, so that should actually be a 10 because I take +1 forward.
Oh, yes, because you're acting on that, so it gets us to a 10. All right, so again, yeah, I'm fine with. Is there anyone you don't have influence over right now?
I think I have everybody.
I was gonna say everybody has influence with Matt.
Yeah. That's the only gap I can see in this, is if there's somebody who's not particularly compelled by what you're saying, but otherwise that pretty much tracks. So again, we're talking. I want to get back to Joe here for a second, but in the sense that so Joe's coming straight at must save Met from the thing, blah.
Do you have influence over Joe? I don't have that on my reverse notes here.
Do I have influence over you?
No,
Alex.
My sheet says that I do. If you tell me that I'm wrong, then I'll take it off.
Your sheet is probably more accurate than mine, so that's fine.
yeah, the tracking and reverse thing is we're not always great at because it's sort of a hack, right?
Yeah.
That would my inclination would be to trust the other direction, just because that's what tends to happen. So what I'm going to say, aside that's something to be processed here in a second, because Joe was like basically mid leap at Roddy and such. Matt, I'm going to give you the opportunity to defend Roddy here, and see if you can save him from, well, something. Prior to these all the information from Alex, because that's definitely happening. But let's see if we can sort out what's going on here. Clearly he has misunderstood, or if nothing else, or possibly he's still just raging out.
Clouded.
Yeah, clouded. That is a lovely, kind way of describing the situation. Joe was very clouded during this. Yeah, the debriefing afterwards. How would you describe Joe during this? He was a little clouded. Clouded, really. Yeah, a little clouded. It's very kind. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to defend. It could look a lot of different ways. It could be words again, but in this case, I think you're definitely defending Roddy from incoming gorilla. Or I'll give you the opportunity. You don't have to. I say I give you the opportunity. You could do something else entirely.
Actually, what I'd like to do, since we're at this pivotal moment, I think, is first do a 20th century studies role, which is like an assess the situation, which is like, all right, what do I know about what's going on here? With the monster, with the trees, with Joe, So I'd like to do that first, and then choose my action.
Sure. When you assess a situation, you may always ask, what does the future know about this moment? All right. I love the furious activity of the scene and the fact that people are like dissecting it. As we go. Matt Jones rolls 21st century studies. That is the most like weirdest thing to see italicized in like comic action font. Matt Jones rolls 21st century studies. Matt Jones rolls history of North America. It's just not the thing you would normally see. All right, so for assess the situation, I think that gives you one question, plus in addition to that, what does the future know about this moment, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah, so basically it gives me that, and then it also lets me take a +1
forward on
going
whatever
forward.
The answers. Yeah, whatever the answer is. Yeah. So
okay. So what did I roll?
You got.
So with an 8,
you've got your basic question.
I get to ask 1.
Yep.
Best end this quickly.
Something in the, my answer to this would be something in the general ice cream flavor of Joe Young. If you don't knock this off right now, I will never talk to you again. Something.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at there is that Alex's this plan will work if we do it. So that's I was looking for an answer that says get.
Oh, the larger situation.
No, the question is like, how can we best get out of here? And that's not like how to address Joe, but if the answer is, listen to Alex, then that tells me
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
kind
mean that
where to go. So
that
I think what you were implying was that Alex is on the right side, and I need to just get Joe's attention and shut him
yeah,
down.
my thinking. So a couple different bits is that from where you are, what's been going on in general. I mean, the fact that right now, if I were going to rank everybody in order of like who's got a good picture of what the heck is actually going on here right now, it begins with Alex and is closely followed by Kiln, and I'd be convinced one way or the other, to switch those two around. And then there's everybody else, probably then Roddy and the other two of you more, but all three of the rest of you somewhat distant third, fourth, and fifth, with Joe bringing up the rear. In terms, just because your guys are kind of like right there in each other's faces, and then the other, Alex has huge bird's eye view, and Kiln's familiar with the stuff from the past. So when Alex asks how do we best end this quickly, it is a bigger picture than what Matt's seeing, which is I can hear what Alex is saying. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. I just saw the blazing, I just saw a freaking Yamamoto laser go off in the sky. Alex probably has a really good track on that. I need to get Joe out of his own head as fast as possible so we can do the thing. So end this quickly is end the when you say how do I best end this quickly, it's end the plan destroying distraction, which in this case is Joe. So that's why I answered the way I answered, because for you the best thing you can do at this point in time is get Joe to knock it off.
Okay, that's fine.
That ends this obstacle most quickly. And there's a +1 forward there on towards whatever means you choose to do that, whether it be provoke or simply defending Roddy, which also works. In some way we can twist the narrative around or anything like that. And the best way to end that,
provoke is the best way with this.
Yeah, saying something that just gets him to I am going to be so
slap in the face.
I am going to be so upset with you if you don't stop this right now.
Thinking more like Joe, focus. Joe. It might be something she has said before.
Yeah, I like that. Second question: what does the future know about this? What does the future? Oh god, I have to answer that question, don't I? Shit. What does the future
Now
know
you know
about
how
this
it
moment?
feels.
I always know how it feels. Like what I do to you guys is what I basically do the entire session. What does the future
I
know?
will tell you that I will remind you that in this one it's okay to say
to claim decision making.
well,
Disclaim?
just that history doesn't know about this.
Yeah.
That's always an option.
I feel like there's a lot of threads coming in here, and I don't see how they don't end up knotted in somebody's pocket like the worst possible set of earbuds. You know what I mean? It just seems like old Bill Murray joke. How do you tie a perfect knot in like 10 seconds? Take a set of Apple earpods, stick them in your pocket, wait 10 seconds, pull them back out. What the future knows about this moment? Ha ha ha. Not necessarily about this moment, but in context of what's going on. There isn't really a precise date for this, but it is right around this point where there was a crisis that arose, if not globally, then in many locations around the globe, that required drastic measures on the part of the super endowed community. representatives, that sort of thing.
Are you saying that I'm super endowed?
I mean, I don't like to brag, but psychically, I'm very well endowed. And some would argue, some have argued, that it was that required time of desperate measures that led to the rise of the extremism that was the sort of the AI movement that was, we need to take the reins away from all the people who clearly can't handle it and do this for you because you're clearly inferior and need to just step back and lie down before you hurt yourself, kind of thing, or we'll do it for you. So yeah, this some sense of the feeling that this sense of this area, I say the forest waking up, that's not really right, but the sense of this area reacting and waking up, and that sense of sort of like really broadly antagonistic just emotion, just that kind of reaction, and thinking of that in a larger scale, it's like is this that first domino falling for that kind of a thing, or what is whether you don't hold on to that thought for long, that's a thing to swing back and visit later, but did something happen here that started the stuff that led to other larger drastic action that led to the problems with your the other people that you've identified and everything that came after? One more straw on the camel's back, so to speak. I'm hearing
it started when some idiot used a drone to lure some monster out of the jungle and into the city.
Somehow they ended up in San Jose and everything just went. All right, so corsages during prom. Roll to unleash your. Oh, really? Unleash your flowers? Unleash your blowers. I like that. Unleash your blowers. You guys hurt me. You hurt me. All right. This hurts you.
I just want you to
As we
know
should.
this is what I put up with.
To be fair, you contributed, so.
Hey, you have no room to talk after the bad jokes you told me the other day.
I think,
I don't tell bad jokes.
No, he's talking to me.
Voice.
Oh.
He knows what he did.
No, there's no denial coming from the tester house.
We were hiking through a canyon, and my 6-year-old, as is her wont, was babbling nonstop to James about something, and I told her that she was not paying proper attention to her environment, in these really cool rock formations, and that in fact I felt as though she was taking the entire thing for granted. And
oh.
That wasn't the worst joke I told, but
No.
but that was.
Yeah,
that was...
the question is, that you've succeeded as a parent. I'm channeling Dave here.
James didn't even groan. He just kind of
the
grunted.
Happiest day for Dave is when he unleashed a bad pun like that, and James hit right back with another. It was like, I have succeeded as a parent.
Yeah, I was perfectly happy with the reaction I got, which was kind of the kind of huff that you get that's half disgust and half somebody just poked me in the solar plexus with a stiffened finger, like just kind of like it was so worth it. Anyway, all right. I think my favorite was still the puppy that fell down. Anyway, all right, so Matt putting the kibosh on Joe's Rodney squishing. How does that? What does that look like? Is it the
Well,
is it the provoke kind
starts
of
off
thing?
with the yeah, it's going to be a provoke, and it's going to start off with Joe, focus.
All right.
Oh, and then once he turns to me, then I point out the large thing coming towards us.
He was saving me. Now listen to Alex. He was saving me.
My husband is making suggestions as to how I can get Joe's attention.
He was saving me. Joe, take a powerful blow. Anyway. All right. Let's provoke with a +1, +2, because you have influence and +1 forward. Because this needs to be higher.
I was gonna say, I hope this is a hit.
Yeah. All right. So same kind of thing. Joe, focus. Listen to Alex. And again, you don't have to.
You can pound him later, but right now, we need to listen to Alex.
I mean, that's clearly the carrot. So again, do what she says. We'll add team to the pool. If you do not, take a condition and do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
I will probably react to
You're scolding.
React to the scolding. Oh, wait a second. I may have found just something that well, that's not quite what James wanted.
Oh.
Never mind. What I wanted, what I want to do in that context is, and I need to find the. Find the right GIF, which I know I can find.
Well, Dave's looking for that. I'm just going to brag that I'm currently eating James's chocolate chip banana bread with cream cheese frosting.
Wow.
So there.
Did Kiln choose escalation on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at.
So is a second one going to appear?
I mean, that was one of my thoughts, but I mean, Bill already beat me to it with like, this is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. I was thinking about it till it was there, and then I can't do it now. Okay, so
what I would like to do is snap out of it enough to kind of twist and abort my
smash,
all out smash on Roddy. But once I hit the ground beside, encourage Roddy to withdraw in the proper direction.
In the with the GIF that you're posting up there,
in an inspiration like kind of in a general way like that.
I mean, sure. Still such a good picture. I mean, I'm fine with that either way. I'm going to suggest, in a writer's room kind of way, that you can obey the spirit of the thing by grabbing Roddy and throwing him in the direction that Alex seems to want everybody to go.
Sure. That makes at least as much sense.
And then you can look at Matt and go, what? I mean, I don't know. I'm helping. I just like that idea. This is, of course, if his. We need to check in with Roddy here. So, hey, Roddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So Met called off your good friend Joe, who seems to have been deeply confused about everything.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted an opportunity was an opportunity to make Joe feel bad about it, but you know,
You still have the future.
I do
So,
still have the future.
I mean, if again, I'm just writer's rooming, but Joe lands, smashes, Mets, a little bit scolding. We need to listen to Alex to do this thing. You see Joe kind of slump, like, okay, and then you're like, yeah, man, don't worry, I saved her from you, and that's when he grabs you and throws you. Like, is actually de-escalated, and you just had to poke him one more time. I mean,
So that's like in the Avengers movie, and you get to the end of the scene, and then everything's down, and until you just see the Hulk just like,
yeah,
The GIF that I posted.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. He just put that one up there. I'm just proposing a throw rather than a toss. But I mean, if you want to make Joe feel bad about it, like that moment of lull, as opposed to lull, but that momentary lull in the action is like the perfect time for you to drop in a,
saved her. You didn't.
Uh-huh.
You were causing problems. I had to save her from you,
I wasn't gonna do that.
but just
Well.
I saved her.
Yeah, it was just like, what's the matter, Joe? I just did what I thought you would do.
Ooh, I like that even better.
and then Joe throws you.
Yeah.
This is like the very
sure.
warped version of the twins.
I love the idea of the timing of him, like, kind of going, okay, and then he says the thing is like, nope, I'm not done yet. I got to have one more little piece of this punk. Actually, both of them thinking that. Honestly,
if you're gonna get tossed, there's one thing you have to add at the end, and I've just posted it in Discord.
I need to see. Where's it at? Discord keeps migrating underneath my other stuff.
Killen can never know about this because don't
Don't
tell the elf.
Don't tell the elf. Toss me. Don't tell the elf. You got to toss me. Anyway, all right.
Above that, so
What's that?
the one above the
Yeah. Talk shit, get hit. I like it. That's good stuff. All right. So, Roddy, sailing through the undergrowth. Okay, where are we on all of this? So, Kiln, Alex is, everybody go this way. I'll distract it. Now, and Alex is rattling off like what it's. Credit to Alex for all of this stuff and the mighty provoke. I'm gonna actually have this stand in place of rolling team for this thing because I gotta add team to the pool. Remind me in a second here, but crediting Alex with enough information for Kiln to deduce that whatever, like, yes, you know what this thing is, but you can tell from what Alex is saying that they have determined that it's not fully functional. Like, it's not seeing. Alex is very strongly emphasizing, like, this thing is going to be sound and smell based. We need to move away so I can provide get a sound distraction going. So, like, you've figured out from that information that it's, for some reason or another, blind. Again, you haven't seen the bloody thing yet. Okay, so what do you do?
Knowing that.
again, there's a provoke kind of out here on everybody to do the thing and get team, or don't do the thing and take a condition. And I don't want to say that
thing being
do the thing is follow Alex's directive to head this way, stay quiet, run silent, run deep, head this way, and I will and allow me to provide a distraction that gets this thing away from us. That's the
But when you say run silent, run deep, I'm just thinking of the submarine, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's not exactly what I'm sure that's not exactly what Alex was. I'm sure that's not what Alex was saying, but the gist of it being, go this way, be quiet. I will distract and lead it away. Team to the pool to go along that route. Do something else. Condition. I'm not saying it to hold a hammer over anybody's head. I just want to put that out there that's, the route for the team has been established by the soldier. So there we go. What you do is entirely up to you.
I'm gonna. I figure it's going to take the rest of them a hot sec to get, upwind and all of that, especially silently. So I'm gonna keep running interference. And try and work myself into a better position to take it down.
Okay.
Once Alex does whatever they're gonna do.
All right. So again, not a hammer, but the plan is the plan is X, and you're going on your own script. That's totally fine. But the fact that Alex has influence over you, has asked for this thing, and you're doing something else does have an effect. So I pick a condition for whatever that happens to be. Whether it's, well, you already picked up guilt. It's a guilt because this thing is coming after him or whatever. You already got that, but something about like whatever that, I don't figure out what the expression of that would be, because that's kind of how that, Alex's words are ringing in your ears, and you're doing something else, and you've got your reasons for it, you've got your justifications for it, but it's still your own thing. Cool?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Roddy's flying. Joe's going. Matt, how do you move quickly through trees? Through forest, I should say, not through trees necessarily, but how do you move quickly and quietly? Is it low gravity bounding kind of a thing, or what?
How dense is the canopy?
Not bad. Sunlight definitely gets in it. It's
I mean, it's not something where I can low grav along the top of the canopy rather than.
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's not there aren't. It isn't obviously. Hang on. Well, I mean, here. I'm just going to grab this thing and throw it into Roll20. So if you would click there. This would be the densest area, but again, remember that picture that's just up there in the Roll20 as the background. I mean, there's light coming down. It's not a carpet. The trickiest thing is really finding the hitting the branches that are actually going to support you up there, because they're not immediately evident, pretty thick stuff. So
well, the advantage of the gravity field is that you can actually spread out, so you're not you're not looking for a foot size hold. You can, put down a meter square, slab of gravity that you're bouncing off of, so you
Right.
can distribute the weight over a wider area.
You're likely to see this kind of stuff too. I'll throw another image up here, like, canopy, but also stuff up and out of it, this is much easier, obviously, to, I say navigate, Especially,
Well, my first inclination is to go up, because then I'm making less noise, because I'll sound more like wind in the branches.
yeah.
But if I feel like I need to keep an eye on everybody else, then
No, I was just curious what it looks like for you. I think I have a pretty good, I mean, not to stereotype, but I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like as Joe's moving through the trees. But with you, I just, kind of wanted to get an idea what that.
that's my thought.
Oh, cool. All right. Alex and then Roddy. Where are we at? What time are we at? Okay. Alex, are you moving right now, or are you just focusing on all the other stuff?
Alex can coordinate the drones and still move, so I think they're probably sprinting through the forest, being as quiet as they can.
Okay, great. Are Alex's legs always the same legs, or is this the kind of thing where you like swap out from the knee down for different situations or anything like that? I honestly don't know. I'm curious.
I think they probably came with like a loadout for superhuman strength, and I think they've probably got. I kicked around the ideas of like grappling hooks and tasers, and I'm going to stick with that for now until I think of something better.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're certainly modular attachments.
I was just thinking of like the you see with people with prosthetic running limbs, where the springy feet.
The gazelles.
Yeah. The bouncy running thing.
Those are called gazelles, I think.
Are they? Oh, cool. I love that. That's a great name. In any case, I was just like randomly thinking about that, but that's hardly matters. Okay, so you are doing that, and kind of the initial swarm of drones just around the thing, like I say sarcastically, like playing a blast of Rock Lobster and then swirling away to kind of, but whatever, what does that larger, so that's we assume we see it, the drones get its attention. If you have a particular image and what that looks like in mind, please share. I'm also curious, and where I was headed with that was like, what's the larger pull it away long-term kind of thought or distraction look like? Like, what is that?
I think the longer term plan is basically a couple of drones go off along this particular tangent. They're going to be dodging and weaving and ducking randomly, so they can't be hit with the same attack. So even if it gets a lucky shot and gets one of them, then the other one can keep going. They're running on battery power, and they're eventually going to run out of that. So
sure.
Hopefully when they drop out of the sky, we're going to be long gone.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just they're going to hopefully lead this thing on a merry chase, and
at some point in time, it goes back into sleep mode. One would hope, or whatever. Yeah, I mean, wherever it had been, it hasn't been active. It was like covered in. I cannot think of the word that I'm thinking of. Just that rotten layer of forest cover or something. But
TARDIS.
Yeah, the words out of my head, doesn't matter, but it's like it's covered in like the loam and dirt and rotten leaves and all that mossy crud and everything like that. So it clearly pulled itself up out of some sort of resting state, and theoretically returns to that if the threat drops away far enough. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm seeing the dragon thing, but I like it.
I don't have an immediate picture of like a tiny drone confronting a monster. So
Yeah, no.
I figured I'd go for something that depicted the scale.
That's pretty good. I like it. Yeah, and there's probably you still see a couple of those energy blasts like going off, but again, it's just. Actually, I'm going to say the first couple of drones that you send in, you run into one of its really annoying problems, because the blast thing, while bad, is not the thing that made it such a huge detriment to, back in the old days. The first, like, say 3 or 4 drones that come swarming and kind of get its attention and lead it away thing, whatever clearing it's in, when those things get close enough to be buzzing and there's a sense of like, there's a thing here that does not like me that is nearby, the thing, the best way of thinking of it is it bursts. It doesn't like physically burst, but rather than a big beam, it basically scours the clearing in an energy pulse that would literally, there is no good place to be standing. The thing is functionally, well, what happens is there's a burst, and the first thing that happens is this thing drops about 10 feet down because the ground is now 10 feet down. Like, everything that was there is not there, or got blasted in such a way that essentially it's suddenly standing in a crater that is lower than it is, so it drops. This is apparently such a normal occurrence that it is not even remotely surprised or discomfited by this. And the next time a couple of drones, come by, it turns, does one of the longer blasts, and starts lumbering in that general direction. But yeah, the thing basically just atomizes everything in a short range blast, and then turns and kind of lumbers after more of the direction. There's a couple of drones that you find this out the hard way with a handful of drones as you're leading the thing astray and away.
Determining its range.
Yeah. I don't think I have a role for this because you're doing what you need to do to kind of like defuse the situation. Roddy, I need you. Stuff is happening in your quadrant. I need you to overcome an obstacle.
I was about to say, stuff is happening in my quadrant because I'm flying through the air.
Yeah, you're flying through the air, but you're flying into the scene escalation.
Giant corpse flower.
You're flying into the scene escalation that Kilna ordered a little while ago. The delivery guy just got here. So for the scene escalation. So I'd like,
So
what I'm looking for, what I think is the thing to do here is overcome the obstacle, because otherwise you're basically flying straight into badness. Because the problem with a big flying arc, while awesome, is you're super predictable in terms of the direction you're going. And you need to alter that. First of all, see the thing coming and then alter your path. Does that track? Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I imagine Roddy going through the air is just like, Joe knows throwing never works. He must not be that bad.
Yeah. Because this is a thing that's happened to you before with him. Nice. I mean, you haven't seen a really good reason to stop. You're actually in a pretty good arc for, and apparently doing kind of what Alex was even saying, which, whatever. The trees are I should put this another way. The strangler fig branches, some of the more pliable, greener ones and stuff, are moving to intercept you. And as you're getting to sort of a narrower patch, they seem to be really like, yeah, that's not a visual illusion. They are definitely doing a thing. I need to not be there whenever to land in whatever it is that they think that they're doing with me, because I'm pretty sure they're not reaching out to cushion my fall. In this section. So
Is it more of the figs or just the vegetation as a whole?
I'm gonna say it's largely focused right now on the strangler figs, because stranglers. I like that verb for this situation. So, badness coming your way, avoid with unleash your powers to sort of unleash your powers. Or does that work?
Badness I'm heading towards. Really.
Yeah, there's a collision, a literal collision course, a literal and figurative collision course. I think avoid with unleash your powers, if that's cool.
Yeah, and I imagine this is going to be like gymnast style. Like,
yeah,
it's reaching out. I'm just going to use their own thing to like flip into a good position. Hopefully.
Yeah, the reason that throwing never works, because you can,
I'll land. Doesn't really matter how you throw me.
Okay. Unleash a 7. Okay, cool. Okay, so I like this for this. Overcome an obstacle on the 7 to 9. You hit, you do it. 7 to 9. Mark a condition, or the effect is unstable or temporary, which is, I think in this case, is like, yeah, I'm not in immediate danger, but the danger is still here, and definitely something I'm going to have to continue to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I like you snag one as it thinks it's trying to grab you. Gymnast flip, or the parallel bar is kind of not even parallel bars, the high bar kind of a thing. A little flipped, get your round over on a branch. Good. 3-point superhero landing. 10 points from the Russian judge, and but then really immediately noticing that they have reacquired their target and are moving in. So yeah, the vegetation seems quite upset with you in this area, which is totally unfair. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything to them. It's really Joe's fault. It's really just Joe's fault. See if I can get everybody to try to rescue Roddy within 2 sessions. Kiln, what condition did you take as you're pelting off after this damned thing?
I went with guilty simply because in.
I thought you did. I may have been
No.
mistaken. I thought you already had guilty for some reason. Oh no, because you rocked the take a powerful blow. Never mind.
Yeah.
Right. Never mind.
I went with guilty, because I'm concerned that it was my presence here that caused this thing to wake back up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
So-
as such, I
To,
brought
yeah,
danger to.
Joe being the human chainsaw.
As opposed to Joe, yeah, as opposed to Joe sort of smashing the fire alarm on the wall. No, that's fair. It's interesting to me because the guilty is that you might have caused this and not, the team said this is the plan and I went and did another thing. Like that's not the part that's actually bugging you. It's the fact that you may have been responsible for bringing this down on them in the first place.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm helping by doing this.
No, I'm not. It absolutely tracks. It's just it's interesting. Where is it coming from? And it's coming from this thing as opposed to this other thing. Is good and cool information. All right, so Alex is sprinting through the trees, directing drones, making them make noises. What are they doing? Are they playing Kiln's otherwise untranslated shouting on loop, or?
I think so. Like Alex remixed audio earlier in the
Sure,
in the gym, so they're probably doing that same tactic.
Yeah, very cool. So that's happening. This thing is lumbering along and blasting somewhat indiscriminately here and there. Seemingly building up a little bit of speed there. Kiln is pursuing on a parallel. Roddy is eyeing. The shot of Roddy is actually from the POV of the approaching plants, so like the edges of the frame are like the approaching plants, and we see Roddy up on the branch, and in the distance behind them, at two different levels and at two different sort of sizes, due to the fact that like one's closer or not. We can see Met and Joe approaching, like sort of in the background of Roddy's shot. So Roddy's sort of in the middle, immediate foreground the plants, and in the background Joe and Met approaching in that scene there. So that is all happening, and Alex probably also not really very far away there, just not in that frame.
Yep.
Kiln going the wrong direction. That's fine. That's cool.
I know how to get Kiln back, or I think I know how to get Kiln back.
All right. And we will find out, I think, since it's 10:30, we will have to find out if it works.
Oh, but I'm going to forget by next time. Don't.
All right. Well, okay. What do you do then? Or do I can't tell if you were joking or not. Do you want to do it right now?
No, I'm quite serious. Like,
all right.
I think that the last thing that Alex wants to tell Kiln is, you can't get yourself killed. I can't get you home then.
Ooh. I mean, I feel like it's another provoke.
You can resolve the provoke next time. I just want to leave that there.
Okay. Oh, I like that. That's good.
It is written in the log.
It's written in the log. You can't leave us alone. And, with all the drones out, Alex definitely knows that Kiln is not on the plan right now.
Damn non-compliant elves. Get over here.
It's always got to be why is it always the characters with the high decks that got to go kiting off? Don't worry, man. I don't need armor. Got dodge.
I don't need to wear a mask. I have good con.
No. It's too close. No.
Too soon.
Okay. We're gonna. I want to chat, which means I need to stop. We need to stop recording, which means we need to wrap up this thing. So I will go around the horn because I think we should absolutely find out whether Joe feels closer to the team, farther away from the team, or more in an image of himself.
Oh man. He says, quickly opening up the little cheat sheet, because I know what I think I probably should write.
Doing things against your own best interest is the most masky thing, I think.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, honestly, you did that with Matt. I like what you did with Matt.
I gotta grow away from the team.
That's fair. All right, who loses influence?
It'd be hilarious if it was Met, since she was the one who kind of gave the, shouted at him, which
The
then
counterman?
led to
all the other stuff, yeah.
hilarity.
Can you do that? Can you take influence away from your love or your rival?
Yeah, you can.
Well, I can. Although I assume to do that I probably need to change.
No. You start with giving your love or rival influence, but you can take it away too. That's legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
There's
still.
nothing in the rule that says they always have it.
You can still be. I don't want it. Just don't attribute meaning to the word beyond just the easiest thing for me to think of. You can still be obsessed with them within the frame of whatever it is, without every word that they say landing like a hammer blow, like landing with that.
No, that makes sense.
With that weight.
I've had people that I've had very strong feelings about that I just did not want to listen to because we were having a fucking fight, and that fight was going to get resolved one way or another. So yeah, I know that feeling.
I will go ahead and take the influence away from Met.
No more of this provoke nonsense for for at least one session.
I can provoke. I just don't get Right,
Nope.
so many pluses attached to it.
Yeah, it's tricky. I don't know. Provoke is. I gotta think about that for a second, because I mean, the way provoke is written is if their words matter, if your words bear weight with them, which I think you're all team members, so that probably still tracks. Because otherwise, if it's like, well, you need to have influence for provoke to work. Well, A, too limited. B, that would mean that you're like you never roll provoke where you aren't rolling provoke with a bonus. And that seems also
Right.
weird to me. So yeah, you probably provokes are still
You
on the
need to be able
table.
to provoke bad guys.
But in bonus provokes are not. Well, that's a fun thing. Is like since I mean the easy route to that is well I've got influence, so obviously my words have weight. So that's like the easy win to say whether or not provoke works. And the fun thing about that is it means that every single adult on the planet can provoke you. Which, I mean, if I was going to check in with Kaylee, tracks. So anyway. Certainly, every adult in the at least 50% of the adults in the U.S. can provoke her right now to great heights of rage. Matt, closer, further away, image of self.
But for kind of a like that, this even though it's foreign, this feels more comfortable, working together on something like this as opposed to school and lessons and things like that, because I'm used to doing things, not being passive.
Yeah, studying
So,
and drama and
yeah.
clothing, although probably. So you broke up a little bit. Was more into your own image of yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so shift labels as you see fit. Let's go with Roddy. We're right there in that 3-person cluster right now. So let's ask Roddy. What say you? Human cannonball?
More into the image myself.
Okay. Shift again as one sees fit.
Doing what you think your friend Joe would do.
Kiln.
Let's see. I'm gonna go growing into image of myself because this is I feel far more comfortable in this situation than I have in like most of the rest of what we've been doing.
Yeah, Primeval Forest, some of your old stuff, some of the old bits and pieces there from what had come before, that kind of thing. 1, 2. That works for me. I'm just going to count up one thing here. We're going 1, 2. Okay. Call it 3. Dealing a few team to the pool for those people who went along with Alex's provoke. So I'm not sure. I'm sort of letting that stand in lieu of when you face a foe together. Like we never really did that, but there was enough provoke action going around in there where people went along with it that some team got thrown into the pool for Joe listening to Met the second time, Met listening to Alex, and I'll be kind and say Roddy listening to Alex. I don't know if it exactly tracks listening to Alex, but whatever. He went the right direction, whether by his own power or his own. And finally, speaking of Alex,
I'm definitely going to grow closer to the team. I will give it to Kiln, who already has influence. As pissed off as Alex is at them right now, the whole offer of like I'm trying to get you home was very genuine and from the heart, and so I feel like please don't fuck this up for me while I'm trying to do something nice for you.
Yeah, I like that. That's a genuine, yeah. It's I think noteworthy in that it is a thing that is entirely Alex's. It's not some directive. Honestly, quite the opposite. some Aegis directive.
Yeah, this is our vacation. So
Yeah, so this is definitely not something from me. This is something from Alex, and that's really cool. I also like the meta thing of that I say meta, so I'll say James, that James did of like, I want to get Alex involved in dealing with this thing, right at the outset, which is very cool. I always appreciate the GM assist of getting other people rolled into the thing and doing all that.
I mean, no fear, Alex would meddle anyway, but I appreciate
yeah, I
that.
mean that goes without saying by all means, but it was the conscious decision there was good stuff. Good stuff all
Yeah,
around.
that's super awesome, and I appreciate that, James.
Yes. So, hey, you know what? It took us a little while to get back on here. All the weirdness stuff and camping and nonsense. But man, good recovery and back into it. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording so we can, if the mood takes us, get caught up a little bit and stuff. So that closes up what is actually session 12.
Mm-hmm.